According to Forbes magazine, over 72% of all entrepreneurs struggle with this one thing. So a few years ago, around COVID, I was doing some research on different mental health topics because I wanted to do something new for my podcast. So I'm sitting on my computer and I'm Googling, and then I came across this amazing stat. And it stated that 72% of all entrepreneurs struggle with mental health disorders in some form or fashion. And I thought, whoa, this is amazing. And when I say amazing, I don't mean like, wow, this is cool, but amazing in terms of the shock factor. When you think of entrepreneurship, you think of ironclad, brave people who don't have any problems, right? That's why they chose entrepreneurship. That's why they're able to weather the storms of entrepreneurship. It's because they have this ironclad mindset. But to hear that over 72% of this population struggles with mental health disorders is kind of shocking, if you will. And that numbers is so much more greater than people that are working regular 9-to-5 jobs or professionals, if you will. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. But nonetheless, I thought this was amazing. And this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to focus my practice, so my therapy practice, on entrepreneurs. And I also do work with professionals, but I do love working with entrepreneurs because of the storms that they have to go through. And if you're not careful, so this is all for all my entrepreneurs, whether you're 10 years in the game or you're just thinking about getting started, even if you have a side hustle, I want you to hear this. When you're getting into entrepreneurship, please do not go at it alone. I know when you think of entrepreneurship, you think of working for yourself, working by yourself, but that is one of the biggest myths of this whole entrepreneurship game. What you need to do day one is find people who have the answers and then go see if you can either pay them for the answers or just simply ask them if they can give you the answers to the test, right? So whether it's you're trying to, let's say, set up a social media agency, right? Or let's say you're trying to start an e-commerce business, or let's say you're trying to start a coaching business, whatever it is, you do not have to go through the fire that they went through because they have the answers. Now that's just one side of it. So that's just the business strategy side of it. But also the whole personal development side of entrepreneurship is very, very big. Because one thing that I find myself doing, because I find myself going into new waters, as we call it, is I find myself asking other entrepreneurs who are more experienced, is what I'm going through normal? Is what I'm feeling something that you felt before? And when they tell me yes, it helps me to stay away from what I call the dirty pain. And that's going to be a whole nother topic that I may do later. But what I'm trying to say is having pain, having, let's say, stress, that part is okay. But when we start to beat ourselves up about having the stress, that is when we put ourselves into what's called suffering. So pain and suffering are two totally separate things. And again, that's a whole nother podcast that I'm going to go into. But nonetheless, entrepreneurship, it is a road that can have its highs, but it can also have its lows as well. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because in this episode, I'm going to give you entrepreneurs just real simple mental health strategies to help you to prevent being a part of that 72%. But also, if you are a part of that 72% that is struggling with your mental health, I'm going to give you strategies to help you to overcome those things so that you can perform at your highest levels in your business. So with that being said, let's get into point number one. So point number one, when it comes to helping you to overcome your mental health struggles as an entrepreneur, is that you need to start to ask yourself, how much time and money am I dedicating to my mental health? Now, this may sound crazy because I know you guys are dedicating a lot of time and effort into the business. I know that for a fact. That's why your business is successful now. And here's the thing, we need to take that same level of investing and we need to put it into ourselves when it comes to our mental health. Because here's the thing, if I try to pour water into a bucket that has a hole in it, it will never get filled, no matter how much water I put into it. If I try to give someone knowledge and they're struggling with anxiety, or they're struggling with depression, traumas, or addictions from their past, no matter how much knowledge and information I'm gonna give them, they're not gonna be able to execute on that knowledge or information I'm giving them. So it only makes sense that we repair the bucket, so repair your mental health, so that now when I'm giving you information, now when you're receiving information, you're able to execute it at your highest level. But here's the thing, what is your budget for your mental health? Now, this budget can include a lot of things. It can include seeing a therapist like myself. It can include going and getting monthly massages. It can include you taking days off. So this may allow you to take PTO days. I know we think of PTO when it comes to 9 to 5, but if you have money saved in your business, in your personal savings and all that stuff, maybe you find yourself able to take a few days off for vacation. Maybe being able to take a sick day if you need it. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, and when I say a lot, I'm looking at myself as well, that have worked on sick days because they just simply couldn't afford taking days off. And that's because they didn't have a savings account for those days, right? I need you guys to seriously invest in your mental health, simply because your mindset, your mental health is the number one asset you have when it comes to building your business. But if you do not believe that, if you do not invest with that same type of vigor that you invest in your business with, you're going to find yourself hitting walls. You're going to hit these walls pretty often, if you will. So my question to you is to look at your budget and be willing to increase that if you find that your current budget isn't conducive to giving you the mental health, let's say resources, strength, or resiliency that you're looking for. So that's probably my biggest tip, the first one. I need you guys to look at how much time and money you're investing into your mental health. Point number 2 when it comes to overcoming your mental health struggles is your belief around mental health. Now, here's the thing. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, and what is very common is for them to tell me when they heard about mental health, right? So seeing a therapist or even personal development, they always thought that this was some woo-woo type of stuff, something that is not as important as the X's and O's when it comes to building their business. And here's the thing, if you go inside of Barnes & Noble or almost any bookstore, when you find the business section, to the left of it, you're gonna see the personal development section. And the reason why is because your personal development is literally gonna dictate how far your business goes. Because at the end of the day, your business reflects you. So if you're not in a good headspace, how can your business be? But see, here's the thing. Again, a lot of people don't believe that mental health is as serious or as important as your physical health. And there are a lot of people who don't invest in their physical health as well. So as a result, they're not able to reach the heights that they know, or who knows, they may not even know that they could reach, simply because they're not taking the time to invest in that part of their life. Now, if you're someone who owns a business that has employees, right? So let's say you have a small business. You need to be responsible, and you need to look at what your culture is saying about mental health. Now, something that's real big here in America, but across other countries, is this idea of working 4-day work weeks so that you have an extra day to relax, rejuvenate, and get ready for the Monday that's coming up. So for a lot of my clients, if you will, a lot of them, they see me on Friday simply because they work Monday through Thursday. And that's what we mean when we say looking at the culture of your mental health, right? The mental health culture of your company. Because at the end of the day, if your employees are not mentally well, mentally fit, mentally in shape, when we give them a task to do, how can we expect them to do it at the level that we want them to do it at? I think that would make pretty poor bosses of us, pretty poor leaders of us, to think that, hey, if I'm not encouraging mental health days, if I'm not encouraging them to take care of themselves, to still expect them to operate at the level that I want them to operate at, I think it's pretty careless. Think about it. You could have 10 employees that are operating at 85%, or you could have 10 employees that are constantly working at 55% over the course of a year. Just think about the output that, that team could or could not be making. And all of that is predicated on how much you're enforcing these mental health policies. What is the mental health culture within your business? And I can even say this too. What is the mental health culture within your family, your friend circles, right? I can even say your place of worship. The church that I go to, mental health is something that's very, very big. And the reason why is because my pastor, he has a psychology degree, but his wife, she's also a therapist. So as a result, mental health and all of that stuff is heavily pushed through my church. So as a result, the culture there is very much a mental health first type of culture. And you can do that with your spirituality. It doesn't have to be either or. So step number 2, I need you to analyze what is your beliefs about mental health. Do you see this as something that is like a woo-woo type of thing? Something that only Gen Z, or let's say people from like Eastern culture, so the Buddhist culture or whatever, are those only the people that you believe that take that serious? Do you believe that mental health is something that is not as serious as your physical health? As you know, or maybe as you don't know, your mental health and physical health, they are heavily tied together. That's why a lot of people, they go to the gym early in the mornings so that they can be mentally fit to actually go and do the job that they need to do. So again, what is your belief? And I need you guys to make sure that you're pushing a mentally healthy culture within your business. All right, point number 3, I want you to make a list of all the behaviors, activities, and even the people that drain you of your energy and of your mental health. Now, why is this important? Well, when it comes to behaviors that you're taking, there may be a chance that you're doing people-pleasing behaviors, and as a result, you're draining yourself, you're sabotaging yourself when it comes to your business. Now, this could be you taking on clients that maybe you shouldn't be taking on. Maybe this is you lowering your prices when you shouldn't be lowering them, and as a result, you're having to do more work. One can even say, maybe this is you working with other people that are not right for your culture at your business, right? So many different things. But these behaviors we have to look at. Even the behavior of something like, let's say self-sabotaging, or let's say addictions. These things, they definitely will drain you of the energy of your mental health, of your happiness, essentially, and get in the way of you being able to put your best foot forward when it comes to your business. But if you do not know what these habits are, if you do not know what these behaviors are, then how can you put a plan together to overcome those things? How can you put a plan together to stop you from people pleasing, right? Stop you from, let's say, picking up unhealthy habits, if you will. You have to be able to have that awareness. The second thing that I mentioned is these activities. So when it comes to your business, there may be a chance that there are activities that you're just not good at. Maybe there's activities that you just don't enjoy doing. If that is the case, you can protect your energy, your mental health as well, but your energy as well, and just hire someone to do it. You can also find an easier way to do these things by using things like AI nowadays. There's so many different things that you can do to help you to save time so that you're not doing things that aren't healthy, so that you're not doing things that drain you. Because what is draining for you may be energizing for someone else. So as a result, let's just pay them to do that. You know, what's interesting about this is that last week I had a client and they're actually working in a professional role, right? They're working in a leadership role, but this still applies to entrepreneurs. I asked them how many activities are they doing within their job that they deeply, deeply enjoy doing. And they said 0%. And the reason why I asked them that question is because they were telling me that they're finding themselves feeling drained and unmotivated when it comes to their work. And that's something that isn't uncommon, especially when you're doing activities that you're not really excited to do, that you're not motivated to do. The thing about motivation is that we tend to feel motivated when we do things that we deeply care about. And when we start to see progress as well, that's another big one. But if you're not doing things that you love, it's going to be hard for you to put your best foot forward. And if you're not putting your best foot forward in your business, then how can you expect to see it grow? Do you see where I'm going with this? You need to make sure that you're doing valuable-based things within your business. And if it's not something that you deem as valuable, hire someone else to do it. Now, you may be at that stage right now where you don't have the funds to hire people to do things. If that's the case, I would ask you to find some type of system. So again, AI is very big to try to help you to make this process, this activity that you're doing, less laborious, if you will. Less of a, let's say, pull or a lift, if you will. And the second part to that is the people that you're working with. So the people that you're hiring, the people that you're, let's say, outsourcing work to, it's very important that you feel that you guys are working on the same page. You guys have a good idea of what the expectations are. Because if not, that in and of itself can cause stress. And the reason why it's causing stress is because you're not getting the output, you're not getting the, let's say, goals met that you're expecting them to meet. But yet, here you are, still working with them, still hiring them, because we don't feel comfortable firing someone. We don't feel comfortable giving feedback. And that can go with people pleasing as well. So there's a sense of assertiveness that you do have to have. There has to be also a sense of, let's say, management, if you will, right? When you're managing people that's under you or working beside you, because if not, that too can be very draining as an entrepreneur. So again, for that step, make sure that you are putting a plan in place to help you to eliminate different tasks, activities, behaviors, and sometimes even people that may be draining you. Point number 4, to help you to overcome any mental health problems as an entrepreneur, is to make sure that you stay strategic and not tactical when it comes to your time management, your systems, and how you're running your business. Now, the reason why strategy, right, systems, is more important than tactics is because when I focus on an overarching strategy, the principles underneath it, it may change, but the system that I'm working on, that doesn't require much adjusting, if you will. And once I have a team even the people that I'm hiring to edit my videos like this, once they understand the overall system, I don't have to be on top of them when it comes to telling them, hey, I need you to do this or do that, or I need you to change this whole thing. Like, we can do things kind of mindlessly, if you will, because there's a system in place. Systems, right? Even when it comes to your own personal habits, but let's just talk about systems within a business. They're put in place to help make things that are really, really hard, really, really laborious. It makes it so that those things don't take as much time or effort or energy from you because we've done it before, right? When you look at something like McDonald's, there's a system that they have in place when they're making their burgers. They can have a busload of people literally get off the bus, come in and order 30, 40, 50 Big Macs. But because they have a system in place, that order, right, it doesn't take that much energy from them. It's just kind of copy and paste one thing after the next. And the reason why is because there's a system in place. Even if McDonald's had a whole new burger that it came out with, which they sometimes do, the system doesn't change because it's the same, right? They've been using the same system for years. And honestly, I used to work at Wendy's, so I know how the system works. You have one person that's cooking the burger, and then you have someone that prepares the burger, right? And then you also have someone that's working on the fries. So if someone orders, let's say, a number one, there's 3 or 4 different people that is working on that order. And they've been working on that part of the system for months, or for some people, unfortunately, years. So when a new order comes, it doesn't take that much brain power. And the reason why is because there's a system in place. So what I would ask you to do within your business, start to institute systems. Now, here's another thing, and I talked a little bit about this earlier, but institute a system that is for your mental health when it comes to your business. So again, this may be working 4 days a week. This may be having once a month some type of mental health webinar, or maybe sending mental health, let's say, emails to your team every Friday. It can be something that simple. And because of that, it makes it so that this team doesn't struggle with mental health to the level that maybe other teams are struggling with, simply because they have a reoccurring system, right? Now, again, because they have someone coming in, let's say talking about mental health, or there's a webinar that's given once a month, or there's an email that's sent every Friday when it comes to mental health, the tactics under that, it doesn't really matter that much, right? Because they know every Friday, every month, every year, there's going to be something that's going to be beneficial for them. So it doesn't take much planning, if you will, because again, it's on a system. So again, think strategic, think in systems instead of being tactical, if you will. And then point number 5, something I've already mentioned to a degree, but as an entrepreneur, something that's very important to help you to overcome mental health struggles, to help you not fall apart, or fall into rather, that 72%, is to make sure that you join some type of community. Community is very big in any aspect of life. When it comes to building habits, if you're struggling with the habit, it's important to find a community that has these habits, so that way it's easier for you to come a part of that community. So I'll give you an example. If, let's say, I want to start to become a runner, but I suck at running, I should probably join a group of runners. Now that I join this group of runners, I can see how they prepare, but also the pressure of keeping up with them. Me seeing that this is something that is possible, it makes it so that running now becomes a little bit more of my identity, because I'm centering myself around other people that are also runners, okay? And it's the same thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So here's 2 ideas. 1, find a group of people that can help you with the strategy of your business. That's very big, very big. Here's the thing, mastermind. This is a concept that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Think and Grow Rich. He talks about how when 2 or 3 people come together, they're able to put their minds together and create a whole entire new mind called the mastermind. Because there's things that someone else knows that you don't know, something that someone else has experience with that you don't have experience with. And because they have that experience, they can pair it with your knowledge or your experience and create something that they've never seen before. That is the power of community. That is the power of masterminding, if you will. But you can only do that if you're willing to reach out to people, to network. And that's why community is just so big. And now also, as I mentioned, being around a community helps with that personal development piece as well. It helps with the mental health side of things too. Because here's the thing, that journey of entrepreneurship is going to have its ups and downs, unfortunately. And I've experienced a lot of them. And every time I talk to someone who is, let's say, successful, however you want to define success, they've also normalized what I've been going through. I remember telling a group of people that, hey, not right now, but at the time, my business was losing a lot of money and I was almost out. I mean, when I say out, I mean almost out of money, to the point where I was thinking, hey, I should go and ask for my job back. And so many entrepreneurs told me that that is exactly where they were before things changed, before everything just turned around. And when I heard that, it helped me to not be so tough on the fact that I was, let's say, struggling, if you will. And that's why I talked about having pain is okay. It's the suffering that we don't want to fall victim to. And again, suffering is when you're beating yourself up about a painful situation that is actually normal. So again, this is why having community is just so important. They can help you normalize some of the things that you're going through. They can be a place where you can vent, but also they can share experiences and ideas with you that you never would have come across. And that right there would save you a lot of time and money. So these are the 5 mental health strategies to help you to, again, overcome any mental health struggles that you're having so that you're not a part of that 72%. And again, I'm just going to summarize these real quick. So the first one was, how much money and how much time are you dedicating to your mental health? That's something that I need you to look at. The second one is, I need you to look at your beliefs around mental health, even the beliefs that you're putting out when it comes to your culture. So if you have a small business with employees, what is the mental health culture that you have amongst them? Number 3, make a list of all the behaviors, activities, and even people that drain you and put a plan in place to make sure that we eliminate those. Number 4, become strategic versus tactical in how you run your business. And also you should become strategic and systematic, if you will, in terms of how you are handling your mental health. Mental health should not be something that you visit when your mental health is going bad. It's something that you should be maintaining year round, daily, right? All those type of things. And then number 5, make sure that you join some type of community to help you with the business aspect of entrepreneurship, but also the personal development and the mental health side of entrepreneurship. So again, this is Coach Wells. I'm a licensed therapist, and thank you for checking out this podcast. And make sure you subscribe to it so you can get more episodes like this. All right, guys, I'll see you later.